What do you think of this place?
The what?
Out of Date says the word about what you've done so far is spreading. The tribes haven't lost hope yet.
Bubuko von Vunvun, Koibe, or Korfabe.
He appreciates what you've done so far, but unfortunately he's had urgent news from his friend Whiz in the Northwest.
Nuka, Nuburak.
He's unsure about your intentions, but hopes you'll support Whiz.
Loma Utulu, Ba Yowo.
He says he'll point you in the right direction, but finding Whiz and making sure he gets what he needs is up to you. That doesn't sound good. Out of Date's hunch is real. The Merc Puff is up next.
Loma Utulu, Ba Yowo.
Out of Date says that Whiz is worried now that the Northwest Worldeater is stepping up its activity.
Fofo Umbak Bakwa, Papamu.
He explains that Whiz is working on an undersurf vessel in order to get to the Worldeater, but needs help to get it done.
Koyevun, Tuvun Bunun, Fofo Umbak Bakwa, Papamu.
Out of Date suggests that you should head northwest as fast as possible and see what you can do to help.
Empaso Dombupu du Koye.
He's happy to help.
Oloi Bobo Paweg.
Understands completely. The Surge Surf Factory. Keep your eye out for Whiz while you're here. Let's see. So many ways to disappear here. Look at the notices on that board. No one paid much attention to them, it looks like. Whiz should be around here somewhere, probably taking care of his guppos. A surge surf factory was one of the cleaner ways to make power, until the surf turned into goo and clogged it all up, that is. The power comes from turning the movement of the surf into surge sparks. Sometimes science is beyond belief. There are sure to be more tracks around here, maybe by the shore. Whiz isn't easy on the tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Whiz. You might remember him from the old days when he let you try his octopod? Whiz remembers you were such a cheery kid, and he's glad to see that light hasn't faded from you, despite the years. But Whiz understands it was a long time ago, and memories get murkier the deeper you go, but says it helps to have friends with you to plumb those depths. It was a tragedy, but also sad that you chose to leave. It's a miracle you made it on the outside on your own. That land is harsh, they say. Whiz says our memory keeps things for us, preserves them until we are ready to face them again. He knows you've returned to face Lupa Lupin, and that confrontation is as inevitable as the tides. He's not surprised that the loss of your family could plunge you into the depths forever, but you've always been able to rise like a bubble to the surface, no matter what. He knows that though the tides of history may push you in one direction, you can always lay your own course. Ultimately, it's your choice. You were the one to be wronged and have lived with the consequences. He believes in consequence as it's a direct result of action. Asks if you ever think about freedom and whether any of us really has it. Did you make the decisions that brought you here, or are you just a pawn of fate? Glad to hear that. He only wishes he was that sure about himself. Amazed the world is going to continue on, but happy to hear it. Still so many things to invent. Impressed that you fought so hard to keep the world spinning. Thinks you were smart to join with the Myriad. They have a rainbow of ways to approach any problem. Says they're unified in the ways that matter. But that's not nearly as important as this. Whiz says that you should let the past dwell in the depths, but there's something else down there too, gnawing at the tree of life. He's named it the Merc Puff. This is why he's tinker-tonkering with the octopod. But the lid got stuck, so he needs a big enough tug twister to open it up and let you a-go-in. He can't leave the surge station, so you must help him find a tug twister. There's a wound-up mecha fingro in the mecha stadium that still has one stuck on its back. Find it, and you'll find the tug twister. It's definitely made to lend a helping hand and do the heavy lifting. Toxinol records mention it as an automaton made for moving bionucleus matter into storage areas. Don't know what that e-waste was. Handy. Don't want to point a finger, but the Mecha Stadium is near here. Definitely not open. You can't really understand your story till it's done. Just a few moves left. Make them count. You need to line up the switches so they match. Just a few moves left. Make them count. You need to line up the switches so they match. Bristles like the hair of one electrified. You need to line up the switches so they match. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. Morning is breaking. You need to loosen the bolts without unsettling it. Just a few moves left. Make them count. That's it. The tug twister's loose. Let's hope it turned the grabbing hand into a helping hand, too. New day, new start. This won't be a field trip. It's the real thing. He believed the tug twister would do the trick, but now realizes brute force won't do the trick. You need something slick. He agrees that it's an option if you want to break stuff, but in this case you want to keep things intact, so it won't leak once you get undersurf. He says the lid should open if you sprinkle grease it. Problem is, he's all out. He knows his old friend Choo Choo always keeps his grease sprinklers well filled. He should have an extra that you can borrow. He stresses that you should come back as soon as you've retrieved the grease sprinkler. The Merc Puff is crunching bark by the minute. Whiz heard he's currently stranded at the end of the line, so it should be easier to track him down now compared to when he's running rails. Choo-Choo knew you would make it to him one day. All you had to do was follow the steel path. The rails might be getting rusty, but eventually they all converge on him. Claims rails are like rules. If you follow them the way you're supposed to, everything good in life can roll your way. Says you followed the rails to where you need to be, but tracks have switches in them too. The question is then, will you keep on the same track or look for a way to hit that switch? You seem like you're on the right track already. He just hopes you don't get sidetracked onto a darker path. Whichever way you go, he wants you to know that the rails never steer you wrong. Stick to them, and they always bring you right to where you're meant to be. Wants to know if you've ever regretted taking one track in life instead of another. If you could go back, would you switch tracks or keep chugging along the one you're on? Likes your sureness, the way you keep at it like a chug-chug with no way to reverse. Seems like the world came out of its rut and is chugging toward higher ground again. Can't thank, but let's not get derailed. Says he's surprised to see anyone this far out, but sometimes the wrong train does take you to the right station. As you can see, he's been off track since the world started dying, but he's trained his mind to stay positive regardless of the situation. Thinks that's fine, but there's no path in this world that's not been already made. He's convinced the tracks are like the paths our lives take, and you must deal with the outcome, even if you didn't lay them yourself. This time, though, he was sidetracked and needs a new wing nut to get back on track. Wing nuts are easy to find, as they're fitted on any in-front chugga-chugga out there. The challenge is taking them off, so says he knew you would, like he knows the way the rails run. The Wing Nut Chug Tunnel. It goes on forever. You already missed the sky, don't you? That paid off. Sizzler! Foe would leave now. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Just a few moves left. Make them count.
Malap. Cosita ba? Pasata konta pa. Lakoto, kompata.
Choo Choo says he knew you'd come through. If someone makes a stop at your station, it's for a good reason, but he understands no one gets their tracks greased for free.
Lakoto, pasata konta pa. Pa.
He'd be happy to part with his spare grease sprinkler, as he believes it's a great fit for any of your business that needs to be unstuck.
Ko. Sap.
He keeps it safe in a box on the handcart, in case of emergency.
Cosita ba?
Wants to keep it there in case of an emergency, but realized it's long.
Ko. Saparamalo?
Choo Choo says you should help yourself to the grease.
No kasabat.
It's a versatile tool from the bygone, a last of its kind, so don't let it go to waste.
Cosita ba? Kremataza ba?
He's convinced you'll put it to good use, as there are lots of stuckies out there that need greasing to open.
Kato.
Seems glad you think so. You're on the right rail.
Kambasapate pata.
Choo Choo says he can't wait to get out of this place.
Ta.
Says you should take it easy. You shouldn't worry about smashing up the box. Choo Choo has no use for it now. Choo Choo says he feels strongly about helping his next, just like you did for him. He's convinced there was a bigger reason you met. Sometimes the wrong train will take you to the right place. He believes you've got what it takes to make a difference. He's witnessed it himself.
No kasaba.
Says fate is like the rails. They lead in certain ways, and you can only fight that for so long if you want to get anywhere.
Koi.
Choo Choo's thrilled you found the Ark. Just imagine how much faster than a chug that thing must be, and no rails needed. Needs no rails, no roads, nothing but air. The world's on the mend, so no need to leave it. But just think of all the places the Ark could take you. Says he's happy to see the Ark in your hands. Knows you'll go great places with it and do some good. Wonders who you might call aboard the Ark with you.
So, what we have here is an opportunity to help your next. There's a seat open on the Ark should you want to offer it as a gesture of appreciation.
Why? You don't need anyone else but yourself and me, of course, but I'm a part of you, so that doesn't count.
If you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go further, go together. The only one we'd want to get away quickly from here is darkness.
But you know you can't go on without me. Even if I'm bad company, I complete you.
I think we can finally agree on something. It is better to be alone than in bad company. But best of all is being good company yourself.
After spending a life on the rails, he's eager to ride the skies with you. Just let him pack his rollerboard, and he'll roll aboard. Choo Choo says he's ready to pack up and leave. Didn't have much else to say, so no problem. Whiz says that there's no plan to confront the Merkpuff until the octopod is properly armed.
Evan Tulusin.
He's happy.
Yippee.
He says his old friend Boom makes all things that go bang. There's a rumor that some of Boom's pyro sticks shot off and are out there roaming free. You should keep an eye on the horizon for pyros. If you're fast, you have a shot at catching some of them before they go off. Boom has named the place Puff Duff Bluff. It sounds silly, but it's an accurate description considering most of the pyros are duds, seeing as they're as old as the old world. Oxenol used to make all sorts of splody things before it blew up in their faces. Looks like some solid wood scrap there. Nothing here has ever known the cold. Go on, catch it. Caught one. Critical. Got what he deserved. That looks like an unbanged pyro stick on the loose. Better catch it before it goes off. The pyro sticks will cause a bang, but targeting is on you. At least now you have a chance to hurt the Merc Puff where it counts. You should aim for the head. That's the Merc Puff's weak spot. Thinking doesn't seem to be his strong point. Whiz has been working on another cannon, but instead of pyro sticks, it squirts guppos, scaly distractions for anyone with an appetite disorder, and irresistible for the Merc Puff in particular. Seems the best way to find guppos is go talk to Gil. He has a natural sonar and knows where the guppos sub the surf.
Imperium avar ilanto vieto.
This means you'll have to go visit Gil at Burblebottom. Find Gil and he'll be able to tell you where to find the Guppos.
Kapininkai kalai.
Guppos are... happy to finally get to meet you. He's seen a lot of things wash up on his miniature shore, but nothing as exciting as you.
Western Hannelore, wife and
Figures it's impossible. As bad as the air might be, the goo is even worse.
must face with wife and
It must have been upstream only to get to this point in your histo-future. But which way are you going now? With the flow or against?
Guaneme fee. I don't know.
It's crazy hard to flipper against the surf, but you can't save the world if you let it sweep you away.
Meant to worry.
Either way, it's a shame the surf has gotten so nasty.
Must face with Hofintra Bidwitch and
Thinks life is like trying to ride a wave. You need to pick the right one, but you don't really know which one that is until you're on top of it.
Menfrinkeforte.
Seems to him that there's always another wave coming along.
Sudden.
Can't imagine how wonderful it's going to be to surf on gooless goo. The world is going to live.
Sudden.
Can't thank you enough for fighting against the goo.
Beautiful.
Happy you ride alongside the Myriad. They bring a real shine to everything they work with.
Fest and trip.
Says they shine so bright. They glitter on the waves.
Fest and trip.
But none of that's nearly as important as enjoying the day, right?
Right where the Clywood saw.
He never drank from this pond because of the disgusting things done there.
Era Sion Medge.
Even the fish stopped drinking here after the pollution made the surf mucked and the air blocked his gills.
Era for any table.
He figures the Tree of Life isn't drinking either. Or, well, that's not true. He said it does drink, as it has no other choice. It's a tree, but it's forced to drink poison.
To worry. West.
Claims the surf is poison now. Anything that drinks it becomes poison too, including the Tree of Life.
Sion Medge. For any table.
His friend Whiz needs Guppos for one reason or another, and Gil is ready to point you in the right direction.
Howdy Feta.
But here, you're only going to find dead ones. He's pretty sure Whiz wants them alive. Well, at least the ones that aren't already rotting.
Sion Medge. Must face with which.
If you head in the right direction, you'll find a clean enough bit of surf to snag yourself some Guppos. Then you can get them to Whiz for whatever he has in mind. Figures he's always been a friend to Whiz, and now he can be one to you too. Ways away. Such a treasure! Just a few moves left. Make them count. Just a few moves left. Make them count. It's quieter here, away from the sky. That's interesting. Better move it before it gets all wet. That seems to be enough guppos to provide the octopod with infinite ammunition. He's surprised the Merc-Puff's been able to hold its breath all this time. It's just another proof of the evolutionary change caused by Toxanol's contamination. Being undersurf has meant the Merc-Puff has been left alone to munch on the root down there undisturbed. This means the northwest route has suffered more damage than the others. He's sure there's enough time to confront the Merc-Puff, but he worries if the world has enough years left to last his lifetime, even if you stop the Worldeaters.